My dear listeners, there are stories we enjoy, there are stories we admire, but there are also stories that hold our hearts and refuse to let go because they remind us of the silent battles so many children face. Today's story is one of pain, betrayal, courage, and rising above the darkness. It is the story of a little girl who cried for help, but her voice was swallowed by the very people who were meant to protect her. Sit back, open your heart, and listen carefully because what you are about to hear is more than a story. It is a lesson, a warning, and a call for every parent, every guardian, and every soul who believes that children deserve safety. This is Ijeoma's story. Welcome to Olu Beauty African Folktales channel. Here we tell you the way it is. Have you subscribed? If not, run kitty kitty, run kata kata. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Share it with your family and friends. Oh yeah, grab your popcorn, sit JJ, and enjoy yourself. Oh yeah, let's go there. When people see me today, they see confidence, they see strength, they see a survivor. But they don't see the girl I used to be, the girl whose pain was hidden behind a smile, the girl who carried a scar that everyone ignored. My name is Ijeoma, and this is the truth behind my scar. Before the scar, before the screaming, before the night my world fell apart, there was once a peaceful time. A time I sometimes wish I could return to, even if only in my dreams. Before everything fell apart, my life was simple. I was born into a loving family. My father, Mr. Obinna, was a gentle carpenter with callous hands and the softest voice. He worked hard to give us a good life. He loved me in a way every child deserves to be loved, full, pure, and without conditions. Every evening, he would carry me on his shoulders and say, "My EJ, you will fly higher than all the birds in the sky." He loved watching me draw while sitting on his laps. He always said, "My IJ, you were born to shine. The world will hear your voice one day." I was only 6 years old when he died. One stormy night, as lightning flashed repeatedly, my father left home to help a neighbor whose roof had been blown away. He never returned. A passing car lost control on the wet road and knocked him into a ditch. They said he died instantly, but I always felt he must have called my name in the last second. Maybe he thought of me. Maybe he whispered a blessing. The day we buried him, I learned that life can break faster than a glass cup. My mother cried until her voice cracked. The house became quiet, cold. She stopped singing in the kitchen. She stopped braiding my hair with joy. She stopped being the one woman she used to be. Grief hardened her. People say death changes the living more than the dead, and I saw that in my mother. She became quieter, more anxious, always afraid of tomorrow. We survived on my father's savings for a year. Then we survived on faith. My mother tried on her own. She worked as a fruit seller at Obete Market, standing under the hot sun, shouting over the noise. But money was never enough. School fees came, rent came. People stopped buying as much. She was drowning. Then on charity, and then on desperation. One day, a well dressed man came to our house to buy furniture my father had carved before he died. That man was Chike. He offered sympathy, he offered help. He offered comfort, and my mother, desperate for stability, listened. He brought food, paid my school fees, fixed things around the house. People in the community praised him. A real responsible man, they said. A man with good heart. When he asked my mother to marry him, everyone encouraged her. Everyone except my spirit. There was something in his eyes I didn't like, a coldness behind the kindness. But I was only 7. Nobody listens to children. They got married 3 months later. At first, things were fine. He tried to play the role of a father. But little by little, the real Chike revealed himself. The mask began to fall slowly. At first, it was just strictness, controlling, quick tempered. Don't sit here. Don't look at me without greeting. Don't talk unless spoken to. Then came the stares, the comments, the uncomfortable closeness. I started feeling unsafe in my own home. Although he never hit us, no, his weapon wasn't fist. It was fear, a fear that grew over the years like a shadow waiting for darkness to fall. But when I tried to tell my mother, she silenced me with her fear and said, don't spoil this marriage for me, Ijeoma. Please, oh, I won't survive another heartbreak. So I learned to carry the fear alone. Our home became a battleground of silence. Chike ruled with an iron voice. My mother walked carefully, afraid of upsetting him. And I learned to shrink myself. He controlled everything. What I wore, how long I stayed outside, the friends I talked to, what shows I could watch. He watched me constantly, the way a predator studies his prey. Sometimes he would stand at my door at night, pretending to check the locks. Sometimes he would call me to massage his shoulders when my mother went to the market. By the time I was 12, I mastered the act of smiling through pain. Smiling when Chike shouted at my mother. Smiling when he criticized everything I did. Smiling when he gave me that look that lasted too long. I learned to live quietly, move softly, avoid attention, avoid him. But he always found me. When my mother wasn't home, he became a different person. Sometimes he would call me into the living room and touch my head slowly and said, you are growing into a fine girl. The way he said it made my skin crawl. Other times, he would sit too close, or stay too long, or breathe too heavily behind me. I told my mother again when I was 13. She shivered with fear, not fear of him harming me, but fear of losing him. She whispered to me and said, Ijeoma, stop it. People are laughing at me. Stop lying. I can't start another marriage again, please. Her words burned. I didn't sleep that whole night. I cried. I thought my chest would have exploded. My mother wasn't choosing him over me. She was choosing survival over truth. And survival is a powerful, dangerous thing. That was when I realized sometimes the people meant to protect you are the ones too weak to stand for you. My fear became part of my routine. When I heard his motorcycle returning home, my blood pressure rose. When I heard his footsteps behind me, my stomach twisted. When he laughed loudly, I trembled inside. School became my escape. I would stay in the library until the last bell. I would walk home slowly. I prayed every night, God, please protect me from this man. But monsters do not disappear just because we pray. One afternoon, while cleaning my room, I accidentally knocked my mirror down. It shattered into large, sharp pieces. Chike rushed into my room. He shouted and said, "You want to spoil this house? You, this useless girl." He slapped me hard. My mother heard the noise but said nothing. She was afraid of losing her marriage. I was afraid of losing my life. That broken mirror, I didn't know it then, but it will become the weapon that wrote my scar. I will never forget that night. It was a Saturday. The air was strangely quiet. My mother left for a vigil around 8 p.m. One of those long ones where the pastor shouts, "Fire, fire," until morning. Her Bible tucked under her arm. I watched her leave. I was alone, or so I thought. I was praying silently. God, please don't let him come to my room tonight. But heaven was silent that night. Around 10 p.m., the electricity went out. The house sank into darkness. Then I heard it. His footsteps, slow, heavy, intentional. My heart slammed inside my chest. The door handle turned. "Ijeoma," he whispered, "are you awake?" I froze. He stepped inside, the dim flashlight in his hand casting shadows on the wall, and he said, "Why are you running from me? Eh? Am I a monster?" I trembled. I couldn't speak. He shut the door, locked it, and said, "You are a woman now. I need to teach you some certain things." He touched my arm. I screamed. He grabbed me. We struggled. I ran toward the corner of the room. My elbow hit the broken mirror shard I had kept aside to dispose the next day. I felt it cut deep into my shoulder. Blood rushed out. He panicked. I pushed him with all my might, ran out of the room, down the stairs, and into the street barefoot. Lights turned on. People shouted. Dogs barked. I fell on the ground, bleeding, shaking. The neighbors rushed to help. That night, I lost my childhood forever. Someone called my mom. They took me to the hospital. At the hospital, the truth spilled out of my trembling lips. "Chike, he tried to touch me. I was running. I fell, and the mirror caught me." My mother arrived almost immediately. She dropped her Bible. She rushed to me. She held my face and she cried out and said, "IJ, what happened?" She cried. I told her the truth. Her face turned pale. Her breathing became sharp. Her eyes glazed over. Then she said the words I will never forget, words that cut deeper than the mirror ever did. And she said, "Doctor, please write that she fell. She must have fallen on something sharp." "Mommy," I screamed. "Mommy, look at me. Why are you lying?" She didn't look at me, not once. She faced the doctor and begged him and said, "Please, please don't write anything else. My husband is innocent, please." And just like that, my truth died in that hospital room. The nurses murmured. The doctor sighed. Then Chike walked in with fake tears and he said, "Why would my daughter lie against me? Ijeoma, why would you lie against me?" Everyone comforted him. I was the villain. He was the victim. Everyone looked at me with disappointment. But God sees the truth, even when people choose to be blind. At 14, I learned the meaning of isolation. I was alone, alone with a scar and a truth nobody believed. Healing didn't come easy. The scar hurt, but the betrayal hurt more. I withdrew from everyone, stopped talking, stopped laughing, stopped being the Ijeoma everyone knew. One sunny afternoon during PE, I changed into my sportswear and forgot about the scar on my shoulder. My literature teacher, Mrs. Ebere, saw it. She froze, her breath hitched, and she said, Ijeoma, what happened to you? I felt tears sting my eyes, and I said, Nothing, ma. She held my hand firmly, warmly, gently, and said, Tell me the truth. I will not punish you. I will not deny you. Who did this to you? Her voice cracked, and for the first time after months of silence, I broke. I told her everything. Everything. She didn't doubt me. Not even once. She reported the matter. She called social welfare. She contacted the authorities. The truth began to rise like a flame refusing to die. Investigators came to our home. They questioned neighbors. They analyzed my wound. They interrogated my mother and Chike. The pressure made people talk. A neighbor confessed she heard me screaming that night. Another confessed she had seen Chike sneaked into my corridor many times. A cousin of his admitted he once made her uncomfortable too. The truth began to unravel. My mother broke down in tears during one of the sessions. She whispered and said, I didn't want to believe. I didn't want to lose my husband. I didn't want to be alone. Her words were knives. Being alone was more important than protecting her own child. After months of interviews, court sessions, testimonies, and medical examinations, Chike was sentenced to prison. My mother fainted in the courtroom, but for the first time in a long time, I breathed. It wasn't victory, but it was relief. My mother changed after the sentencing. She quit her job, stopped going to church, couldn't sleep in her own house. She cried every night. She begged me for forgiveness. But forgiveness is not a button, it is a journey. One evening, she packed her bags and left town. She said she needed time to heal. She said she needed to find herself. She said she needed God. For 5 years, she didn't return. She visited only once in those years, apologizing over and over. I forgave her later, not because she deserved it, but because I deserved peace. The government helped me relocate. I received counseling. I finished secondary school with distinctions. I won a scholarship to study psychology. I wanted to understand trauma, pain, healing. I wanted to help girls like me, girls whose voices were drowned by fear, culture, and silence. I started speaking publicly, sharing my story, using my scar as my message. People cried, people healed, people listened. One day, after a seminar, a shy girl approached me and said, Aunt Ijeoma, because of your story, I finally told someone what my uncle has been doing to me. Tears rolled down my cheeks. In that moment, I realized my pain had become someone else's rescue. My scar had become someone else's courage. Today, when people see me, they see strength. But behind that strength is a wound that once bled. Behind my confidence is a girl who survived betrayal. Behind my smile is a story many tried to bury. Behind my scar is truth, a truth nobody believed, but a truth that saved lives in the end. So if you are listening to this, if you have ever felt unheard, if you have ever been silenced, if your truth was ever doubted, hear me. You matter. Your voice matters. Your truth matters. And no matter what they say, truth always rises. I survived. I healed. I rose. And so will you. Thank you for watching, guys. This is where her story ends. Now that you have listened to this story, I want you to take a moment to reflect because what happened to Ijeoma is not just a story. It is a reality for many young people who are too afraid to speak. too scared to be believed, too alone to fight. Here are some lessons we must never forget. 1. Believe people when they speak up. Not everyone who cries for help is lying. Sometimes the truth sounds unbelievable because the pain behind it is too deep. Listen, believe, support. Your belief might be someone's lifeline. Secondly, silence protects the abuser, not the victim. Keeping quiet to avoid shame only empowers evil. It destroys trust. It destroys families. It destroys lives. Speak up. Expose wrong. Let truth breathe. Thirdly, parents must choose their children over any relationship. A partner can be replaced, a child cannot. Protect your children with everything you have. Don't let fear, pride, or culture blind you from the truth right in front of you. Again, healing takes time, but healing is possible. Scars don't disappear, but they can transform into strength. Whatever you've been through, whatever pain you carry, know that you can rise, you can rebuild, you can be whole again. Lastly, trauma is not the end of your story. You may have been broken, but you are not destroyed. Your past is not your prison. You deserve joy, love, peace, and a beautiful future. If Ijeoma could rise, you can rise too. So, if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of something you've seen or experienced, if you believe that every child deserves to be protected and every survivor deserves a voice, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Touch the bell button so that you'll be notified each time we put out new video. Subscribe to this channel for more powerful life-changing stories. Your support helps us reach more people, raise more awareness, and give more courage to those who are too afraid to speak. Remember, your voice can save a life. Your share can protect a child. Your support can change the world. Thank you once again for watching. Stay safe, stay strong, and always choose truth. God bless you all. Bye bye. Love you. Mwah.